Does your watch have a kill switch? Hello again, Pietro here. Thanks for clicking on by. And today we're talking about watches, wearables, two specifically. One, the Garmin Tactix Delta. Here's the box, here's the watch, and a sister watch of Garmin, the Garmin Enduro. Both are solar devices, both are very much smartwatches, adventure watches, more military, more adventure, but they have a lot of similarities, and we're going to talk about them. And then here's the Enduro. Let's just jump right into it. Here we go. Ready? So this is the Garmin Enduro, an adventure watch. And this one is called the Tactix Delta. And it actually has the solar on the end of the name as well. So first thing I wanted to test was GPS leakage. I know it's a funny thing. I've done videos out before. We'll make this part pretty quick. Here's the test. You go outside, you walk around, you collect some GPS data, you go back in your office, back into your home, and then you just go back to work and you see if you keep getting GPS distance. Now, yes, you can pause both these devices and then they'll pause and then there is no leakage. Now, the best thing about both these watches and also the Garmin Instinct Solar and the Phoenix series and several others, I think the marquee, they have this really cool option right here, resume later. And that way you don't get any GPS leakage. But if you saw real quickly, for some reason, this one, the Tactix, got a little bit more leakage. Very strange. We'll have to do some more testing with this one. So then you stop, and then right there, resume later. Now, as far as major differences from the watch, the look is the same, the navigation's almost same. This one has a bigger battery. They both charge they charge in a similar fashion when you're outside in the sun. This one charges a tad bit slower only because it has a larger battery. I contacted Garmin because I wanted to know the actual battery size for both the Enduro and the Tactix Delta, and guess what? They said no, that information is proprietary and we can't give it out. Strange, right? Anyway, so I don't know the exact, does this have a 500 milliamp battery and this only has 450? I don't know that. But this one is geared more towards military. And when you go into the workout mode, it automatically resumes. So we're going to click that and just exit out. Save. Save. Now watch how fast this one saves the workout. Still thinking, Garmin still thinking, there we go. Almost twice as fast, sometimes 3 times as fast. A longer workout, the Enduro does take longer to save, whereas the Tactix Delta really saves it fast. They both have that nice scrolling. They give you your workout, the aerobic information, the training effect. They estimate when you should do your next workout, so that's kind of cool. Same navigation buttons. And this is where we have some big differences. So if we look right here and scroll up, this one has Jump Master for jumping out of planes. You have the Halo, high altitude. Oh, what is it? Hang on. So if you are jumping out of planes, this has the Hey-ho or Ha-ho, I can't remember how it's pronounced, but H-A-H-O, that stands for high altitude, high opening, or hollow, which stands for high altitude, low opening, or the static. The jumper is connected to a static line, and as soon as they exit the aircraft, their chute opens, and this does all three. It also has the tactical mode. So this one has this really cool feature where you have MGRS in addition to the longitude and latitude. So the MGRS, if you're into military and whatnot, you'll know what that means. It basically is a military grid, it is basically a military grid reference system, and the 10 digital grid gets you to a 1 meter location. So military grid reference system, MGRS. In addition to that, it also has Track Me. They both have that. They both have Navigate. This one is supposed to be better at navigation. And then the other big difference is right here. Let me get it. You notice that this one does not have a map feature. They have Navigate and Track Me, whereas there's a map right there, and this one has colored maps. This one does not. The map system on the Enduro is just kind of not even black and white, it's just kind of lines, where this has a very detailed map. And you can zoom in, zoom out. It even has public map systems, so you can stay off so you can stay on public property and stay off private property if you're hunting. They both have breathe work, they both do cycling. So those are some of the main differences, but this is definitely tactical. And if you go into the control wheel, this one has stealth mode. And when you turn on stealth mode, well, it hides your GPS and it does a whole bunch of other stuff. This stealth mode is similar to an airplane mode that comes with many watches, as it quickly shuts off all connectivity and tracking of the watch. In addition though, what stealth mode sets apart, it's also stopping the sharing of your GPS position for any wireless connectivity. Bluetooth and all communication is disabled as well. Military perspective, well, this would prevent an enemy from detecting any signals from the watch. So stealth mode, very cool. It also has this one, night vision mode, and what that does is that dims the watch, and in the day you don't see it as much, but at night when you put on night vision mode, you really can't see the screen. And if it's really extremely dark, if you go in a closet with a door, or you're outside with no moonlight, the only way you could see the screen is if you had night vision goggles. And then what it does is it has this slight green glow behind it that allows the night vision goggles to function without blinding the soldier. So very cool that it has night vision mode. At night with night vision goggles or without, you could safely go into the maps mode and view your map in detail without alerting anyone else. So basically this Tactix Delta with the night vision mode, you don't think at night, well, a vision scope and a rifle will be able to pick it up from 100 yards away, and according to my friend who's in the military, we're not thinking so. The other thing that sets the Tactix from this one is, well, this has that shiny bezel. You can get it in black, but this one has a less reflective surface. And probably the only thing I don't like about the Tactix, and one thing I like better about the Enduro, is a little easier to see indoors. The screen is brighter and crisper, especially when you're scrolling through the menus. You can notice it's just a little, I don't know, duller, just not as bright. But they both have solar charging, like I stated before. They both do advanced sleep tracking. They both have temperatures, so you can read the temperature kind of on your skin, or ambient temperature as well. And there's one other really cool feature about this military watch. Let me turn the brightness up. So let me turn night vision off. Okay, watch this feature. So you have to do this programmatically, but if I hold down these two buttons, it initiates a kill switch. And if I don't press another button, it wipes all my data from the watch. Whew, canceled. Isn't that cool? So you press the menu button and the start button at the same time, and that initiates that kill switch. I think that's pretty cool. So basically the kill switch, using the hotkeys, the watch owner quickly presses those buttons. You have just seconds to change your mind, and then that kill switch begins erasing all your data off the Garmin. The military perspective there, well, if your unit was about to be compromised, well, you'd want to erase any waypoints to the nearest base, past GPS activity, any personal info on the watch, I mean your heart rate, your name. There's a lot of info on these watches that you wouldn't want to fall into the wrong hands. And then yeah, any personal waypoints as well, or any workouts. Maybe you went into your military operation and you had a workout from your grandma's house, who knows, right? So very cool. And again, this has the maps for both federal public lands, wherever your adventure takes you. Now this one does have some other cool features where when you are running, it does some cool tracking for your trail run. So if we go to trail run right here and then go into menu, you have the trail run settings, metronome, auto lap, climb pro, auto climb, 3D speed, 3D distance. I mean, it tracks everything. So then you're wondering, well, would this do the same? Let's take a look. Trail run settings, metronome map, rounding, auto lap, auto pause, climb pro, auto climb. So really, besides the long battery life, this one does just about everything the Enduro does. And it has music, and it has Wi-Fi. But what this sets it aside, this one does not have stealth mode. It doesn't have the kill switch. It doesn't have the MGRS. It doesn't do jump master. And this one doesn't do music. But this one is $700 and this one is $1,000. So big differences there. So it really depends what you want your watch to do. If you're a weekend warrior and you want to have some military experiences, or you're in the reserves or anything of that, this would be a great watch. My friend that I talked to that was in the military for quite some time, he said if he would have had this Tactix Delta while in training, it would have made a world of difference on a lot of his, well, in a lot of the military training ops that he had to do. They're both kind of, thicker watches. If you want to compare them to a normal watch or maybe an older one like this one. This is the Vivo Active 4 by Garmin as well. And you can see the size comparison is not comical, but yeah, it's these are a lot bigger watches, and it really just depends if they're going to fit on your wrists or not. I like them. It did take a little bit of getting used to, but yeah. So let's take these outside and I'll show you the watches in action. So as you can tell, when you are outside, the screen visibility on the Enduro is really good, and you can quickly get a GPS signal and start your workout. It's not like watches from years ago where you have to wait several minutes for a GPS signal. Normally you only have to wait about, 10, 20 seconds. It gets the signal really quickly, as you saw right there. That's what that green bar indicates. And then it also gives you a battery estimate, letting you know that you can track your workout for another 50 hours, which is amazing on the Enduro. Now we'll switch to the Tactix. It also quickly gets a GPS signal and has a really, really good battery life. And the flaw that I was talking about earlier, where the screen visibility is a little darker, you don't really notice that when you are outside, because it does have that electronic ink display that's really just so easy to read when you're outdoors, even in direct sunlight. And then back to the Enduro. There's the map difference, if you can see that. All right, so here we are with the Enduro. There's our elevation. There's the screen brightness. You can see how bright it is. And that's what the map looks like. Now you can long press and do a pan and zoom in and zoom out. But I mean, what does that really tell you, right? So this is how bright the screen is with no backlight. And if you see, it's daylight right now. There's the sun. I'm in an underground tunnel because it's really windy. And then here's how easy it is to read the screen without any backlight. Let me have the backlight time out. See how much brighter that is? And I think partially because this is a military watch. Now I have the screen brightness to 40, and now they're quite similar. Okay, so now if we scroll down and go to the map, see, look at that. We actually have street names. I mean, how much easier is that to read? And then you can pan in, you can do system changes. So I'm going to choose pan, and now I can zoom in 300 feet, 200 feet, and then I can do a long press again, or just do back, and then I can choose around me. Anyway, lots of really cool settings that you can do with this map. And then if you want to go back to where you were, if you're hiking the mountains, this would actually show you how to get back. So right there, back to start. And then it does track back. And it's going to give you a map with the roads on how to view that. So we can zoom in and see exactly where we need to go. And if we zoom out a little bit, it should give us the roads. There we go. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool, where, again, you just don't have that same detail on the Enduro, which is kind of a shame. I have heard many complaints on that. But both wonderful, wonderful watches. Well, that was fun. I like going on hikes and shooting video reviews of gadgets outdoors. So which one do I recommend? Should you buy the Enduro or should you buy the Tactix Delta? Decisions. If you're a military person, or let's say you work for the National Guard, or you're going to go through basic training and you're going to be a jump master, Tactix Delta. If you're a trail runner and you just want a battery that won't quit and that can track GPS all weekend long, go for the Enduro. If you can't make up your mind, go for the Enduro. It's only $800. You could probably buy it used for $500. The Tactix Delta came out last year. The Enduro is actually the newer one, and the Tactix Delta, well, it's hard to say, the Tactix Delta is $1,000 right now, and it'll probably drop if you check eBay or other online stores. And I mean, which one do I like better? I actually like the screen visibility. I'm indoors a lot and outdoors. They're both great outdoors, but overall, this screen is just a little bit harder for me to see. I asked some other people online, and then I've asked some just neighbors and friends, and they're like, oh yeah, the Enduro screen is brighter. So based off that, I'd have to choose the Enduro. I love the looks of this one. So I think if I were to keep the Enduro, I would sell this model and get the black version. I believe it's I would get the carbon gray DLC titanium with black ultrafit nylon. So this strap right here, this is actually the strap that comes with the Enduro, The Tactix one, well, you'll have to watch my Tactix video and I'll review those, and I reviewed those straps already. But they both have really good points. The kill switch is pretty cool, but at the same time, if one of your kids was playing with your Tactix Delta, they could erase all your data and there goes your marathon stats. And I'll go through in another video and I'll show you the steps to enable that in the hotkeys. And that's about it. I'll quickly review. No, I already did that. If you have any pithy comments, type those down below. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know which watch you prefer. Do you want to be the military, or are you the long distance runner, or do you jump out of planes? Pithy comments down below. I would love to hear which watch you think is best, and that's it. Let the credits roll for the Paramount Kid. We'll take these off. Give my skin a break. Well, that's the audio feedback that Garmin provides. That's all for today. Goodbye. So as far as the step data and GPS, 2,443, 2,424. If we go back up, time of day is right. Distance 1 mile and 18. 1.21. Interesting. Once again, this one's a little more generous with the distance. I'm sure Garmin will fix that with an update. So we'll save these at the same time. Oh, this time they're about the same. Interesting. Okay, so sleep data. I wore both of these watches to bed last night. 6 hours and 46 minutes, 6 hours and 25 minutes. Sleep score 80, sleep score 79. Continuous sleep, okay. This one had info. You had good sleep last night, despite your late bedtime. Try to stick to a regular sleep schedule to maintain your sleep quality. Okay, thanks Garmin. And then you click back. So there's the graph. Similar, but slightly different. And then I thought that was interesting. The bedtime was off by 15 minutes. So Tactix thought I took an extra 15 minutes to go to bed. Anyway. And then the deep sleep, way different. Light sleep, about 30 minutes off. REM, almost identical, but the deep sleep, this one had me for almost an extra 30 minutes. And then the feedback, almost the same. So I've had some comments like, oh, Garmin's, very inconsistent. Well, I slept with almost identical watches 3 nights in a row, and the sleep data was pretty consistent between both watches. Yes, is there room for improvement? Of course. And I think Garmin's going to get there with better sleep data later this year.